Hey, it's the Fatboy Show on RX Radio. I hope you're having a beautiful day. How can you not be? It's a Monday. And as I've mentioned many times, and Sarah too, we always like to say that Monday is our favorite day of the week. I don't know about you, Olive. Do you like Mondays?
I like Mondays. It's not my favorite day of the week, but I don't mind it. Like, I do not stress about Mondays like I used to.
Well, if you are employed somewhere, you would hate Mondays because it's probably taking you away from probably things you might prefer doing, like just chilling.
No, but I don't hate Mondays.
Okay, but for me, in my position, for me, Monday is like, okay, time to get out there because now you can do some things. Companies are open, offices are open, you can access certain services, banks are working. So there is nothing more annoying than banking a check on a Thursday.
Oh gosh.
And you have to wait till Tuesday because of the two weekends.
So
weekend days.
And now that you know that, make sure I want to remind you. No, let me be nice. I want to remind you that in the month that has Easter, there is Good Friday and there is Easter Monday. So please bank the check early.
As if I have a choice. You're at the mercy of the people paying. You wait to get the check, and if they give it to you on the Thursday before Good Friday,
oh gosh,
you just know it's not gonna be good.
It's not gonna be a good Easter.
But nonetheless, we hope you are doing great this Monday. It is the Fatboy Show on RX Radio, and in case you're thinking of traveling soon, you better beware. Apparently, there's some sort of extortion scheme operating at Entebbe International Airport. At least this according to some disgruntled passengers who found themselves being targeted by requests for bribes by certain officials there at Entebbe International Airport. Last Thursday, social media was awash with allegations from travelers claiming that some immigration officers were demanding bribes before clearing them to take flights. Now, the Civil Aviation Authority has admitted that there have been cases of extortion that were thoroughly investigated, and disciplinary action was indeed taken against those that were found culpable. So, what's the story here? Allegedly, the bribes asked by the officers in question are set to range between $100, which is about $380,000, and upwards of $1,000, which is like 3.8 million shillings. The victims are claiming that despite presenting all the necessary documents, some officers come up with baseless excuses to block their flights. I saw Don MC, a local artist who, I don't know when I last heard a song from him. About 10 years ago, he was on fire. What happened to Don MC?
He said that an immigration officer asked him to pay 3.8 million shillings for him to get onto his flight.
Yeah, and I saw the post and he did not elaborate further than that.
Well,
but it got people talking.
Yes, it got people talking because I also ended up watching different videos from different people saying that the same has happened to them. One of them said that sometimes they do this when they know that the plane is about, they're about to take off the ladders and, close the door, so you're going to miss your flight. So sometimes someone is like faced with paying the bribe and missing your flight, and then probably paying some more money to get, on your ticket. What's the thing you do when you miss your flight and then the airline asks you to pay some more money so that you can get onto the next plane, maybe the next day. So most times people are like, instead of missing my flight and incurring other costs as far as my ticket is concerned, let me just pay the bribe.
Okay. Now, when it comes to these sorts of controversies, I always like to get the finer details, and you'll notice that the finer details are usually missing, because to me what I'm hearing in your explanation is they got there late.
No, it's not even about getting there late. Apparently they look at your documents, and then one of them said the officers told him, why is the first letter of your name not clear on the documents, on one of the documents? But she had read the name as Mawanda, but she was saying, why is the M not very clear? So people are like, what are you there to do? Are you there to clear me to go, or are you there to ask for money? And the Civil Aviation Authority in its statement said officers should not ask for money at any one time.
I understand that, but you see, I have two viewpoints when it comes to I have two ways of looking at the issue of corruption. There's the kind of corruption which is prohibitive, and there's the kind of corruption that is facilitative, meaning you have full access and full rights to access a service, but someone gets in the way and says, unless you pay it, you'll not have it, and yet you should. And then there's places where you're the one in the wrong. You've somehow come up short on certain requirements, but someone offers to assist you by asking for a bribe, right?
A set bribe of $100.
So whereas on your part, you actually, for whatever reason, you don't qualify for the service, right? You either did not meet the criteria, or you missed the deadline, or so ordinarily you shouldn't get it. And if you are denied, no one can complain, right? But I'm saying in such an instance, someone can pull you aside and say, hey, dude, I see you're stuck. But guess what? If you can, sort me out a little bit, maybe I can help you. So there's that. And there is where you're fully entitled, you're fully eligible, you meet all the criteria, but they're being greedy. They want money before you get what you deserve. Now, when it comes to this allegation, clarify for me what's going on here.
Now, when it comes to these allegations, it's the officers being greedy. It's the officers want to make an extra buck off the travelers. And they do this only to Ugandan travelers, especially first-time travelers.
Okay. Because I mentioned this to you before. Like, we may complain all day about corruption, but all of us at one time have looked for shortcuts.
No, I don't think if someone looked for a shortcut would actually go on social media and start, raising dust over the officers.
Some do. Like, people say, police are corrupt. And the reason they say that is because they usually have to bribe a police officer to not get a ticket.
Yeah.
Yet they have been driving without insurance.
Do people actually
they've been driving. They've been driving without valid license, and then in order to get out of that ditch, the policeman says, give me lunch. You give the lunch, and then
you come back
then you go on social media, police are corrupt. Police are corrupt. Shut up, because if they were not corrupt, you'd have either been in jail or been given a heavy fine.
And when it comes to corruption, it takes two to tango. When a police officer stops you, and before they even tell you why they've stopped you, you're already asking the people you're with in the car, the occupants, who has 10k, who has 5k. You don't know why you've been stopped, but you're already rating yourself to give a bribe.
That's the most, for me, the most depressing thing is to be driving, and then I just see some cop step on the road and do like this.
So you look for a 10K.
Flagging me down.
So you look for a 10K.
I'm like, what now? And then they'll ask you, license? Okay, good.
Tires?
Insurance? Good. But this tire here.
Actually, the tires, which should be key, are usually the last. If they check and you have the license and you have everything else that they need you to have, then they're like, your tires. And then the tires, when it comes to the tires, they give you a ticket to go and pay, or maybe you give them some money and they let you go. But shouldn't tires be reason for you to have your car impounded? Because if you do not have the right tires on the road, maybe you're going to actually endanger other road users and even yourself.
Olive, listen. Olive.
Am I speaking from a glass house?
That may be true, but not everyone is always in position to buy a new tire. People are in Uganda. People are juggling priorities.
I understand
so
that.
It's either do I buy
priorities? Isn't your life a priority? Isn't the life of other road users a priority?
What about lunch for that day?
You see,
what
this
about
is
food
why,
for your kids?
But you do recognize that this is the reason why we have many accidents on our roads, because we have DMCs on the roads, and it is because the DMCs are not impounded, they are given tickets.
No, but you see, so if I have 60,000 in my pocket, let's say 60k,
then park your car.
60k, that'll get you a used tire, because if it's a new one, you're gonna be paying like 200-300k upwards.
I didn't even say that go and buy a brand new tire.
Exactly. So you're already broke, and you have 60k, which you could use on a used tire, which might be acceptable by police standards. And yet at the same time, let's say you have to buy Pampers for your baby.
Now listen, park the car, use a boda, use a taxi until you can afford to replace your tires. honestly speaking, we say these things, and I know the listeners may be like, Olive is speaking from a high horse. No, I am
You're being
not.
elitist.
Maybe I am being, but every time I read a police report saying 1,000 people died in 2 weeks, or there were 1,000 accidents in a week, I'm like, really? This can be avoided. And we start here. Let me tell you, Fatboy, if we lived in a country that says a DMC must not step on a road, okay, and there were punishments for that, stringent ones, we would follow and we would do the right thing.
You know what? First buy your car. And we shall see. And you'll tell me if all your tires are going to be in tip-top shape.
Do you
if
know
all
how
your
you
indicators are
you
working.
usually tell people, before you had Suhana, you used to tell people not having a child does not stop me from having an opinion on parenting. I may not be driving my Range Rover right now. It doesn't stop me from talking about road safety. And I start with you guys.
Okay, you have a point. But anyway, on the issue of Entebbe Airport, well, they're claiming that they've investigated and have held certain people culpable. But as a way of mitigating these situations, there are a number of things you can do. Is to make sure that your documents are in order and that you check in early enough to avoid being put in a position where you have to pay a bribe to be allowed to check in. It's crazy. You know, I was... when I traveled to Europe in late 2019, I was actually terrified that I would be turned down. You know why? Because the fools at the passport office made a mistake. So, on the passport, there is a place where they put your NIN number for your national ID, right?
Yes.
And I filled out all the forms properly. Now, do you know what they did on that section of filling in the NIN?
Mm-hmm.
Instead of putting CM, they put CF.
F for female.
F for female. So, because the NIN number typically starts with C.
M.
And then M if you're male, and then F for female.
If you're female, yes.
So they put mine as CF and then the rest of the details. And so when I was at immigration in Frankfurt, I'm like, and they're going to chase. I was thinking about that the whole time.
And you see how it takes away the comfort of your journey.
So that's what I'm saying is these airline people, they're very specific about those details. So if like how you were saying yesterday that the name wasn't spelled properly, those are things that can get you turned away.
No, the name had been spelled properly. You could even see it's a name, but like maybe when you're printing and maybe you're running out of ink and probably some parts are not really visible. That's what the chick was talking about. That the M is not very clear, but you could see it's an M.
All right, but I don't know, man. And why should I care? I ain't gonna be traveling anytime soon.
Did you sort your passport though?
No.
You should.
Can you imagine how long it's going to take me to change that?
But you see, you may get a trip that has to be quick, and then you remember, oh crap.
Yeah.
I didn't fix that.
Okay, so I will definitely do that. Thanks for the reminder. And you keep listening to the Fatboy Show on RX Radio.